I think that no, I think that Tank beats him. I mean, we haven't seen Frank Martin at the highest level, the elite level.
The stage has been set, and the world is ready to watch one of the most exciting boxing matches in history. Everyone can't wait to see how undefeated three-division world champion Gervonta Tank Davis will defend his WBA Lightweight World Title against unbeaten opponent Frank "The Ghost" Martin. Since the date was announced, things have been pretty heated between the two boxers, from other professionals dropping their genuine 2 cents and making their picks for the fight, to some opinions flying around and leading to a couple of online disputes. It's been a pretty tense situation, but here are the details of everything that's been happening. Davis seems to have the upper hand in the professionals' picks, but you wouldn't doubt their decision. Knowing about Davis's track record, it's just a matter of weighing his stats as the pros have done, and realizing that he may just end up taking the title home again. Davis enters the WBA Lightweight World Title with 29 wins, 0 defeats, and a total of 27 knockouts. Yeah, no one can deny how amazing that type of track record is. Davis's height may be 5'5½", leaving him with a bit of a disadvantage, but he definitely knows how to work around his body. Interestingly, Davis's track record holds more importance and respect, not only because of his 0 defeats, but also because of the names he has beaten in the ring. Everyone knows how tough Ryan Garcia is, but in April 2023, Davis put Ryan in the toughest spot as he went on to beat Ryan with a 7th-round victory. Okay, don't get it twisted. Frank Martin also knows how to play his game, and he's also been able to gather a fair track record.
Who again has had all of his fight in this very ring.
You know, it's going to help me. And he didn't come in like a rusty.
Frank the Ghost also holds an impressive record of 18 wins with 12 knockouts. But it gets tricky knowing this match will be Frank's first title shot. Frank's fight with Davis is like him heading for the big leagues, and it definitely wouldn't be an easy one. Oh, another reason for setting Frank up for not taking the title home on Saturday night is the way he handled his previous fight. Frank did throw in a couple of good punches, but it was quite evident that Artem Harutyunyan made his stance clearer. Frank eventually pulled through and won by a unanimous decision, but everyone already had their books full that he wasn't as good of a fighter as Tank Davis was. Davis and Frank are about to put their hard work to the test, but people are talking, and those people are a major part of the fight. With professionals in the sport making their picks, it may have its effects on the fighters, but it is what it is, right? World Boxing Organization's super lightweight champion Teofimo Lopez had his pick not quite long ago, as he believed Frank may be the first fighter to stain Davis's record with an unexpected defeat. In a recent interview with Fight Hub TV, Teofimo detailed how he thinks Frank will be taking Davis's title home.
He's become a one-handed fighter. That right hand belies Gervonta Tank Davis.
However, Teofimo Lopez isn't the only one up there backing Frank up. There's also Errol Spence Jr., who happens to be Frank Martin's promoter. He is actively supporting Frank and rooting for him to win the match, but isn't that what he'd be getting paid for, though? Anyway, Errol was interviewed about the match and its possible outcome, and he did his job perfectly. But that wasn't all. He was also on an Instagram live session talking about the match and how he felt it would go. Still, on professionals making their picks, there's also Tim Bradley dropping his 2 cents on the anticipated fight. Tim is not outrightly picking sides, but Tim is here to warn Frank about Tank Davis traps. Oh yeah, Davis sure knows how to set traps for his opponents as he encompasses a full range of speed, power, and technique. So if Frank mistakenly thinks Davis is letting his guards down, well, that would be a wrap for his opportunity to take the title home. Tim Bradley has the notion that Frank may fall for Davis's antics as the rest of his opponents have always fallen for it. But there's also the possibility of Frank surprising the world that he's more than capable of ruining Davis's undefeated streak.
I think it's going to be a more challenging fight than what people think it's going to be. And I only say that because I see a lot of... I think that Frank is the most athletic guy that Davis, I've seen Davis in the ring with.
These picks keep getting more and more interesting, but y'all are not ready for the next one. Ryan Garcia was the least expected fighter to butt in the highly anticipated match. Folks even felt that if Ryan were mentioning his pick, there would be no other than Frank Martin due to their history, but it's Ryan, and he's mostly unpredictable. Ryan and Frank go way back and even share the same gym and trainer. Both Frank and Ryan are currently coached by former Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year, Derek James. They are practically gym mates. But Ryan is up for Tank Davis knocking his buddy out. Everyone is familiar with Ryan's love for stirring up controversy and being the internet's most talked about fighter. Ryan never ceases to take a stand in whatever concerns him, even the ones that don't. Yeah, that may be due to Ryan wanting to make extra bucks from social media platforms. Okay, That's good for him. But going around and leaving his buddy Frank Martin high and dry in a match is something no one really expected from Ryan. In a post on Ryan's X account, he surprisingly gave his support to Davis as he predicted a 7th-round knockout in Davis's fight against Frank. Ryan wrote, "I will bet $1 million that Gervonta will KO Frank Martin within 7 rounds. Ryan went on to add that it wasn't about him hating on Frank, but he had to say the truth, saying, "I love Frank, but the truth is the truth." Oh, y'all can bet that definitely caused a stir, as Ryan must have predicted before putting that kind of thought on social media. Folks went wild, suggesting different reasons for Ryan's statement. While some people felt Ryan was actually telling the truth, as they also thought Davis would be giving Frank a reality check real quick after the fight, some other people felt Ryan was just intentionally trying to bring Frank on his losing team. Remember Ryan getting defeated by the same Davis Gervonta? Oh yeah, he may actually think Frank may also be a no match for Davis, as he wasn't back in 2023. Also, some folks are neutral about Ryan's statement as they just concluded Ryan made such a statement to drive traffic to his page. But y'all should know Davis wasn't Ryan's first choice. In a previous video clip where Ryan was asked about his pick for the match, he didn't hesitate to mention Frank's name. Okay, so what changed? That's up to Ryan Garcia and Frank Martin behind the closed doors. Anyway, Ryan doesn't care so much about what anyone has to say. He even goes ahead and reminds Errol Spence Jr. that he wants to fight with him if he accepts the contract. Back to Ryan's shocking decision, Frank didn't let it slide that easily. He addressed the situation and talked about how disloyal Ryan was towards him, saying he never expected such a thing from him. In an interview, Frank Martin talked about how he wasn't a fan of Ryan switching sides in the WBA Lightweight World Title. Frank thought of Ryan as a brother, and according to him, brothers don't do that to each other where he comes from. Frank claimed that's the reason his circle is really tight, to avoid getting in bed with folks who don't hesitate to jump ships when things get heated for a moment.
You know, he was cool, but like me, I don't care what he say. You know, I wouldn't get on and talk down or, you know, like he went from all Frank.
It's safe to agree that Frank's anger is justified. He never thought his supposed friend and gym buddy would snitch on him that way to the public. Frank must have felt if Ryan wasn't going to support him any longer, he could have just kept a neutral stance on the match. Ryan's statement didn't only mean he was making a personal decision. It also meant he knew Frank was weak as they trained together, and he knew his limits. That alone already put Frank in a bad spot for both him and his fans. He has to aggressively prove himself worthy of the title in the match as it is. But there's Ryan, who doesn't have anything to lose. In fact, Ryan gained in this scuffle because the traffic he got on his social media platforms must have surely put a couple of bucks in his pocket. However, Ryan isn't the only one on Davis's side. British sports promoter Eddie Hearn feels the same way Ryan feels. Eddie even thinks Davis made a smart choice by selecting Frank as his opponent for the match. In Eddie's words, it would be an easy fight for Davis. Eddie is not even giving it much thought. He completely thinks Davis would be coming up right on top, as he would knock Frank out in a short while. Only Davis has not had much to say concerning the fight. It seems the man is out there practicing longer hours to keep his title in check and avoid any embarrassment that comes with losing it. Okay, things are about to get heated for real. Moving on to folks' picks and Ryan's controversial take, the anticipated fight is here, and the winner of the WBA Lightweight World Title is about to be decided. Davis is taking the upper hand in the predictions, as everyone feels he's much of a better fighter than Frank. Davis has been in the big leagues fight for a while, so he's used to the ropes, but there's Frank, who is just debuting in the big ring with this as the highest fight of his career. Bets and predictions have been made, but no one knows who will prove who is wrong just yet. Frank might have trained well enough for him to take Davis down to take the title home, but who is to say Davis hasn't trained perfectly enough to keep his clean sheet and take his title back home? It's a dicey situation right now, but the beef is about to be squashed in a minute. May the best man win. So who do you think will be heading home with the WBA Lightweight World Title? Do you think it will be Frank Martin, the newbie in the big league, or Davis Gervonta, who is currently the title holder? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel or turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on boxing news updates.